Hey guys, what's going on? It's your boy Saglitch, aka Sag. I'm bringing you some domination gameplay on Call of Duty Advanced Warfare. Been a little bit of time since I brought you some Advanced Warfare play. It's okay because Black Ops 3 beta is over, so getting back into Advanced Warfare for you guys. But this isn't really a commentary about the game as well as bring it back again. Been a little bit of time since I brought you my last embarrassing story, so starting to bring you back into that rhythm, trying to get a rhythm going for these videos. But let's jump into hand today. I got 3 stories to bring you, all from my personal life with my family. And let's start off. I guess we're just going to go in chronological order, meaning from earliest age to latest. But this all happened. Actually, it's a good couple years between these stories. But let's get started. First story is up, and guys, if you guys have known me, if you guys have heard any of my reviews on horror-related things or just anything of scary nature or horror nature, you guys know I'm very invested into the horror aspect of life. I love things that can scare me. I love the ability to get scared, but it doesn't happen a lot now. And I guess this kind of comes from being young, and you guys will understand after hearing this. One of my favorite scary movies, not my favorite, but one of my favorites, is that based off of a Stephen King's novelette. It's based off of werewolves. A lot of people don't know the movie because of the fact that it's somewhat old, and I mean old as in relatively speaking, because I love the movie myself. And the movie's called Silver Bullet. If you guys haven't seen the movie, it's basically the main character, Corey Haim, played by Corey Haim, is in a wheelchair. He's confined to a wheelchair. He's been this way, I guess, all of his life, or there might have been an accident that made him this way, but that's not the important part. The important part is that he's bound to a wheelchair. His uncle, played by Gary Busey, who plays the character perfectly because it's basically Gary Busey like in real life, is someone who sees Marty, Corey Haim, in the wheelchair, but wants him to experience life. He wants him not to see it as being confined, but wants him to enjoy what he can from his wheelchair. So he builds him this motorcycle slash wheelchair, and he names it the Silver Bullet. This thing is extremely fast. The mom, of course, is like super worried about him using this and whatnot. But the Silver Bullet's made to be fast, made to be awesome, able to get him around places quickly, and gives him a little bit of enjoyment in life. There's a werewolf. I'm not going to spoil the movie for you guys. It's a great movie. You really need to check it out. But the movie's called Silver Bullet, just based off of the wheelchair that the uncle makes him, which coincidentally he needs a silver bullet to kill the werewolf. But this first time I saw this was actually my mom was watching this, and she didn't really know anything about it at the time. And at the age of 3, I was sitting there on the couch watching this with my mom, and she of course sees it as a scary movie, so every time there's something, the werewolf would jump up or something scary would happen, she would try to cover my eyes. And this is her telling me this as well, from what I can remember and what she has told me. I would stand up, push her arm down, as she's sitting there. I mean, her hands are massive for my little head. So I'm sitting there pushing her arms down with all my might to see this. And she's like, "No, sweetie, no, it's scary." I'm like, "I don't care. I want to watch the movie." And so I'm sitting there. Obviously, my love for horror has come from an early age, and I just wanted to get to see the horror movie, which is involved in Silver Bullet. It's really funny if you hear the story. My mom was just shocked at the fact that I wanted to see the werewolf that wasn't scared of it, and it's just, I guess that's where I get my love for horror movies from an early age. Next up in the early childhood movie experience, I'm going to talk to you guys about probably the saddest movie experience I ever had as a child. I love Disney movies. It's funny because my roommate in college was actually a member of the Disney movie fan club, and by looking at him you wouldn't really think that, but even in college we would sit there when we had a free weekend and just binge watch on some Disney movies. Yeah, that's right guys, we're not afraid to admit it. We love Disney movies. What's wrong with you? You can't admit it? But yeah, so Disney movies. First off, still one of my favorites of all time. Lion King, love you. Saw it on the movies. Saw the play in college. It was a good play, and was able to experience that. But this isn't really about Lion King. This story here is actually about the Fox and the Hound. If you guys have ever watched The Fox and the Hound, you will know why exactly what I'm talking about. The Fox and the Hound are natural enemies, and this cartoon, of course, is kind of sad for me. I mean, I love The Fox and the Hound. I was watching it one day by myself. I think I was 5, and my mom put it on in the family room for me so they could eat dinner and watch stuff on TV in the living room. Well, I go through watching it, and I'm loving the movie. Of course, it's got my attention. It's a cartoon movie, and I'm just sitting there, and all of a sudden, my mom in the next room hears me crying, and she's worried that I hurt myself or something happened that she just didn't know. And I was bawling. I was an emotional wreck from this movie. And she goes, honey, what's wrong? And I look up at her, and eyes like tearing down, and I'm like crying. I'm like, this movie is so sad. And like, even think about it now, it's kind of like getting to my heart. It's kind of playing my strings at my heart, because it's just, the fact of the matter is that movie experiences so much stuff as a child. You don't really come to grips with it, but even talking about it now, I kind of think about it, and I'm like, it's tough to like get through it, because I just, like, I looked at it and I was just like, it's so sad. Why does he have to die? And so it's just, I'm an emotional person. I'm very compassionate towards certain things. I'm very emotional when it comes to things that I am very invested in. Sometimes that's good, sometimes it's bad, and I mean, even nowadays, guys, I get choked up when watching the Sports Center specials where they go to a couple of the heartwarming stories. I get choked up by those, but the fact is, as a kid, that I fully comprehended what was going on in the movie for the Fox and the Hound, and exactly what's being told, just kind of got me kind of interested. Like, I don't really understand how someone at that age could fully understand it. Even myself couldn't fully understand what was going on, but I did. And the fact of the matter, it was so sad. My mom just starts laughing at me because I'm crying, which makes me cry even more because I'm embarrassed by her laughing at me. And just by this time, it's just like, alright, that's enough, I get that you understand what's going on and blah, blah, blah. But it's just the fact that I was embarrassed that that movie made me cry. But it's such a sad movie when you think about it. And to this day, unless I really want to see it, I refuse to watch it just because of the fact is that it's really sad. And I don't understand why Disney would do something like this. But, yeah, that's my early childhood movie experiences. I got one, obviously, I can't handle, like, sad, good movies, but I can handle a werewolf, like, just annihilating people. Something's wrong with me, I think. Yeah, I'd rather watch people just get annihilated by a werewolf than see a sad cartoon movie. Um, Next up, this ranges from anywhere between when I was 5 up to the age of like 10, 11, even 12 sometimes. My dad's notorious um, about trying to be funny, about being just a very entertaining guy. We've had our differences just because of the fact is that I'm basically him in a nutshell. We do butt heads, but overall, my dad is a great guy, and I love him to death. Every time I talk to him, it frustrates me. But again, with that being said, I always know that he means it out of love. So when I was younger, he used to be very, very, very funny. Anytime I would get hurt, and I would like to the point where I would be crying, he goes, "Hey, Dr. Glenn's in it," and my dad's name is Glenn. And so he'd be like, "Hey, look, Dr. Glenn, let him look at it." And he'd start tickling me and just make me feel a lot better, get my mind off of things. Anytime I have, he even does it now, anytime I have the hiccups or my wife has the hiccups, he'll be like, "Oh, you got the hiccups?" And yeah, and he'd be like, "All right, well, hiccup for me if you do." And then he'd start making you laugh because you couldn't hiccup on command. And then after the fact is that you show him that you hiccup, he'd be like, "No, no, no, do it for me now." And so he would just do it to make you laugh, and you would take your mind off of things, and finally the hiccups would stop. So he'd be like, "Yeah, Dr. Glenn cures another illness once again." But I was notorious about sneaking out of my room when I was younger. Not to sneak out of the house, but to sneak out and watch TV or use the bathroom or just anything. So when I was younger, I would think I would be one of the sneakiest people alive. And I would make sure my parents' bedroom was right beside my room. I would make sure to sneak right past them to get going. And before I could, turn TV on, I would have to, listen back and see if they were awake or whatever. Well, I remember several occasions. This wasn't even times that I would sneak up, like wake up and sneak past their bedroom to watch the TV. These were just times that I would be using the bathroom. I guess my dad heard me get up out of bed, and he would quickly hide behind doors or whatever. And so when I would use the bathroom, I wouldn't shut it completely, but I wouldn't have to worry about like anyone walking by because I knew they were asleep. So I'm sitting there using the bathroom, and this is when I was at a younger age. My dad would be outside the door where I couldn't see him and be like, "What are you doing in there?" And so midstream, I would have to like stop and like look around and scream because every time my dad would catch me off guard, and you wouldn't expect him to be as quiet as he is to sneak around and stuff just because of he's basically built like me, and I'm not a hard guy to find, but it's just the fact that I would be sitting there and he would just use the most awkward silent night to go by and just be like, "What are you doing up?" And just be terrifying me. I was like, my dad's got that raspy voice. He's got that like stern voice that gets your attention. But he wouldn't be like a drill sergeant. He'd be like one of those like, I guess he just kind of sneak attacks you and you weren't really paying attention and he'd catch you off guard. And it would scare me. It would terrify me actually to the point where I would scream like a little schoolgirl everywhere. And he was notorious about getting not only myself but my friends as well. Not when they were using the bathroom, but when they spent the night, when we weren't asleep, he'd come in, scare the living daylights out of us, and then just to let us go back to sleep. But you guys think it's kind of annoying, whatever. And a lot of kids nowadays are very embarrassed about what their parents do. And I, as a teenager, was the same way. My parents do embarrass me, but I understand now that they don't do it to embarrass you. They do it to connect with you, to, be relatable and be someone who cares about you 24/7. So I love my dad for the fact that he is always wanting to know everything what's going on, no matter when I was younger or even now. So, yeah, my dad, guys, apparently that's where I get my kind of sick, dark way of comedy when I scare people. I kind of get it from them in middle school when I think we were at a party, or so we were at I think my friend had a birthday party over at his house, and went late at night, and a couple of girls went to the bathroom. I'd hide in the closet. They come out, and I just scream and have them running over there. So it kind of influenced me. Even now, my wife comes in. My wife's notorious about it too. If I come in, I'm not really paying attention, and she wants to scare me, she will terrify the living crap out of me. Only because I guess this is payback from when I did it to her. But yeah, thanks Dad for influencing me to scare the crap out of people. I appreciate it. So, alright, that's enough about my dad scaring the crap out of myself and my friends. Last but not least, probably one of the funniest stories. This is probably the funniest story within the story time, the embarrassing stories. There was this small Italian restaurant. We literally lived, when I was growing up, 30 minutes away from civilization, as people would call it. It would take us up to 45 minutes to get to the closest mall, and we would go every Friday and Saturday night. We would eat out as a family. This was even in high school, even after the football games. We would, but anyway, it was a Saturday night. We went to a local, one of the near towns, which was 25-30 minutes away, and we went to Walmart first. Our usual routine was Saturday mornings. My mom would buy groceries. We would help her unpack and do chores around the house, aka yard work. In the afternoon, around 3:30, 4 o'clock, we would go to the nearest town over to go to like Walmart, pick up things we couldn't get at the grocery store from there. And before we head home, we wouldn't have anything that needed refrigerated. So before we would head home, we would stop by a restaurant to eat dinner. Well, this is one of our favorite places to eat. It's a small Italian restaurant called Capri's. My wife actually hates it. I grew up on it, so I love it. That and Olive Garden's two different things to compare, so you can't really compare them. But anyway, it's a small restaurant. Every booth, every table has a small candle in the middle of it. It's like a nice little cozy dining experience. Well, this was, I believe, my wife. We went up for vacation. Yeah, we took our vacation and went up to go see them. And they wanted to go eat at Capri's, which is the Italian restaurant. And we're sitting there, we're having a great night, and we get to talking, and usually this is how a lot of family dinners goes. We start laughing about things, we just talk about stuff. And after our order, we're getting ready to box everything up and leave. Well, as we were boxing things up, my mom, I remember because I sat directly across from her. My mom is notorious about kicking our feet. And I told her to stop, and so she stopped and her napkin fell. Well, she picks it up, and we were all done with dinner. She was getting ready to box her food, and she just puts the napkin down without looking where she puts it. Guys, remember when I told you that every table, every booth has a candle in the middle? That's right. My mom wasn't really paying attention, and she puts it on top of the little holder that has the candle. Well, next thing we know, we see like little smoke, and we're like, "What's going on?" My mom's like, "Oh, oh, oh!" and starts like flailing her hands at the napkin that she set on fire, guys. She set on fire, and finally we got some wire to put it out, and everyone was looking over at us. We were all embarrassed, but at the same time, it was hilarious to us. So we had to laugh. We couldn't do anything but laugh. And my mom's like, "Oh my goodness!" And my wife, she turns to me and she goes, what are you doing? And my dad goes, "What, are you trying to burn the restaurant down?" And after that, we just went nuts. Like, we just couldn't stop laughing. We had to get out of there fast because people were looking at us. We were embarrassed. But it's one of those things where you can be embarrassed, but laugh at it at the same time, just because, of course, it would happen to us, you know? But we paid for our food. Also, they had the greatest mints I ever had in my life. Every time we go, we try to talk my parents into going to Olive Garden. If not, and we go there, we have to get the mints on the way out. And my wife just was like, she looks at me and she's like, "Can you get some mint?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure." And I get like 4 or 5 and hand it to her, and she's like, "No, no, no, no. Can you get more?" And so I get like 3 more, and she's like, "No, no, more." And so what ends up happening, guys, is I basically scoop both my hands like a little ladle, and she scoops. It's a mini. It's not a gumball machine. It's like a mini gumball machine that doesn't require any money. So she's just turning, and like 4 comes out at a time. So she's scooping them down, and the hostess and the person's there just watching me, and I'm like, it's not for me, you know. But they're just watching me like I'm the fatty of the group. Like, that's so messed up. Like, why else you got 50 million mints? But no, what ends up happening is we usually take anywhere between 12 to 20 mints, and we put them in a plastic bag. We share them with the group, so there's 4 of us. We share it. We put it in the plastic bag, and whatever we don't eat that day or the next couple of days, we take with us on the way home. My wife loves to eat them for on the road. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not a big picky eater on the road. Like, if we're traveling places, I like just get there. I'm a big drinker. Like, I like to have different kinds of sodas. Like, oh man, one of my go-to sodas is Mountain Dew Live Wire or Mountain Dew Voltage, like the little 20-ounce cans. Oh, those are my go-to drinks if I can. If not, we'll get like a Coke or whatever. My wife's not a big soda person, so she gets whatever. She brings water or whatever she brings. But yeah, my mom tried to burn down the restaurant, and yeah, it's kind of embarrassing, but it is what it is, guys. And those are my embarrassing stories for the week. I hope you guys enjoyed. Sorry if you don't find them funny. Again, they're my own experiences. I'm not making these things up. And if you don't enjoy, that's okay. It's not for everybody. There's plenty of videos that I have up underneath. So if you did enjoy them, please leave a like, comment if you want, subscribe if you haven't. I would like to hear your guys' go-to snacks for the road trips, as well as embarrassing stories that you guys have. But with that being said, I'm checking out. Again, check in the description below for my other videos, as well as my Twitter. You can contact me either way. Comment, tweet me, whatever you want. But with that being said, guys, I hope you're having a great day. And I hope you're enjoying these stories that I bring you. Please, if you want, check in the description below as well for other embarrassing stories. And I'm out. I hope you have a great day. Peace.